How was it helping you to be showing up as this habitual saying what you think you need to say?
It was helping me in a unhealthy way be a people pleaser.
Mm.
So if I didn't make people mad and I made them laugh, so comedy, humor, that's my go-to. Even now, if I'm super uncomfortable or there's a chance that I'm going to make someone angry, it's automatically let's create humor out of this,
Mm-hmm.
which sometimes is a good place, but ultimately it led me to conforming to what I was told life is supposed to be worth. And it all just became, all right, this is the path, this is the pattern. And it's almost like the voice, now that thinking about it, the voice was taking away my ability to manifest what I wanted. It was
Mm-hmm.
what others told me to do or thought I should do. And I took that on as my truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Living how you think you need to live
Right.
rather than living the way you feel called to live.
Right.
What did it cost you to be in the phase of the more masked up, protected, habitual, not your true self, Eric?
Yeah. Where do we begin? It costs a lot. Relationships, splitting of relationships that were no longer serving. It cost that. It cost my health, which I have worked to get that back. I had a year of a misdiagnosis, and so I'm a nurse by background. So I'm seeking out Western medicine, and I exhaust Western medicine with zero help. And it opens a door into Eastern medicine, into meditation, mindfulness, into the ability to close my eyes, close my ears, and look and listen within. And that started this 1 year of pure. It was hell, and I wouldn't change it for the world, because
Mm.
that was the shift, and that was almost like the understanding of what have I been what have I been doing? Who am I? Because this started with looking in the mirror and being like, I have no idea who you are. It's almost like the weirdness is now a companion of, okay, I know I'm onto something. Because if this is
Mm-hmm.
weird, that means it's unfamiliar. So if it is uncomfortable, I personally, for me, if I'm in a situation that's uncomfortable, I'm going to come out of it a better person.
Yeah, it's weird to you, and weirdness has become a sign of growth or change or transformation for the better. And there's a
Yeah.
siren going by, which always goes by when it
Yeah.
wants the listeners to really hear this part. So, weirdness is a sign of transformation or growth or change for the better. And at this point, you have a like, oh, it feels weird. Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's coming? Bottom line, weird is good.
My fear of speaking started like when I was a child, and I really wanted to be like, I was like, oh, I really want to like act or like do performancey things, and was like told at a pretty young age, like, no, 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 you shouldn't do that. And like, I couldn't sing, and most things for children, for like acting and performance are very like song based. And so,
Mm.
was kind of dissuaded from that at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think like it's been more of a journey of like regaining my confidence. A friend recently was joking about imposter syndrome and how like needing to pay your mortgage is the quickest way to get past imposter syndrome.
It feels like all of these things are kind of converging
Mm-hmm.
from being able to receive,
Mm-hmm.
being able to step out and be seen more, working with someone on branding your own website. It's like there's all this information and experience that's coming together that is building your confidence
Mm-hmm.
as you go out there to be seen more.
Yeah, and I think it's like it's converging in like a natural like how things all come together because everything is connected kind of way. And I've been wanting to fuse these two parts of myself together for a long time. The, copywriting, marketing, business side, and then the filmmaking, production, storytelling side. And, I've had way more financial success in one side than the other side. And I always was like, ooh, how do I bring that to this? But it was more, how do I bring both sides together? Because I'm one human being and it's all the same thing and it should all be together. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you are both a person who is behind the camera and now someone who is on the camera.
Right.
So it feels like those two parts are coming together again that have been separate since the person said, no, you're not an actor, you're a director.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I would say my speaking journey began when I started my career in corporate. I was in a role that I thought I really wanted as part of my work towards that. I needed to speak in front of groups, and I'm introverted, so that does not come natural to me. And my mentors at the time gave me all kinds of advice about, be tough and put my boots on and just kinds of things about like, man up kind of advice about speaking. So that's how I entered speaking. I completely bought into it, first of all. So there wasn't a like, whoa, is there another way? I completely bought into it, but it felt really hard. It felt really artificial. It felt like I was slipping on a fake suit that wasn't me. I think the cost of it was that I thought that's what speaking was. And so I thought, speaking, I always have to put on the mask, put on this artificial suit of armor and be somebody, step into somebody else that was acceptable. And I wasn't acceptable. And so part of it felt very soul crushing.
I want to highlight that the idea that if you don't look like what the rest of the world is telling you is a leader or a speaker, then you're not one and you're not supposed to speak. I feel like there are a lot of listeners out there who have that impression of they've got this inner thing calling them to speak, whether it's on a TED Talk stage or in a corporation or in front of a green camera light shooting a video. And yet to a part of them, it doesn't make sense because it doesn't match that masked up only one way version that is sort of infiltrating out in the world. And your intuition again was having you, stay with it, keep going until eventually the third way of, oh, hey, I can be me and speak. I don't need to do it the way they're doing it, revealed itself. And it sounds like in this moment from you staying with the doesn't really make sense. And I'm going to keep feeling it out. I'm going to stay curious.
Yeah. Yeah, I really appreciate how you said that because that describes the journey well. And it was part of that journey was recognizing that I'm more than my head, I'm more than my intellect. Because part of that was I thought that was my whole worth, my value was my intellect. Mm-hmm. And so this journey of trusting that I could be me and speak led me into really understanding, wow, beyond my intellect, I have intuitions, I have sensations, I have emotions that are all valuable information. Mm-hmm. Just really understanding the wholeness of the energy that I possess and can tap into. And it's not just the talking head thing, which I did not understand that before.
Yeah. And how did you come to understand that?
It was with horses. I went to, I think I was led to go to this horse ranch, which I had no idea why I was doing it. All kinds of reasons I wouldn't have done it. But it was a place called Vista Cabaya out in Dove Creek, Colorado. And horses are your teachers for the week that you're there. And it was horses are excellent at biofeedback. And the idea was that when you're present, you can do things with the horses and work with them and get them, to interact and do things. When you're not present, they want nothing to do with you. And so in real time, through those days, I got to see what it was like every time I got in my head or I was being a talking head to the horses, because I'm given things to do with them, and none of it worked unless I got present. And yeah, I'm in my body. I have a body. I have a soul. I have a mind. I have a heart. And once all of that came online, the horses loved to interact with me. And so I got to notice what that was like when we connected, when I finally got present and it was a number of horses came to me and we were interacting. I remember feeling my feet on the ground very clearly. And I remember looking up in the sky and seeing like this bluest blue sky. I remember the wind blowing my hair and just how good that felt. And I remember the flowers, they're like dandelions, I think, yellow flowers and green grass, and how everything seemed to be technicolor. And just I was feeling and seeing and experiencing everything together at this really, really deep level. It felt really unusual. And then my big takeaway from it is like, oh my gosh, this is how we're meant to be. We are meant to experience the world like this, and we rarely do because there's so many distractions. I feel like I have spent so much of my life trying to figure life out, trying to have certainty and control, and all the things that means you do in order to do that, all the ways you cut yourself off from being present as you're in your head trying to make things happen a certain way and figure it out. And again, it's usually out of fear. It's usually, I'll be safe if I do it this way. Things will, yeah. So what has come to me lately is this idea of noticing that when I'm living life out, which means I'm being present to what is present, and I am meeting the situation and not figuring it out, but through my mind and through my body and through my intuition, I am getting information about what would best serve me, what would best serve the other people, what would best serve the circumstances I'm in right now. And then let that flow.
What happened before or what's going to happen next is not there. It's this moment. And when you do that, when you walk out onto a stage, kind of like I did internationally for a Paris keynote, when the technology wasn't working, I had a choice. I could panic and flip out, or I decided to take that mic and in the moment create a musical improvised rap. That I got all the women on their feet and shifted that energy. Not only did it shift their energy and get them excited, it did that for me. It was very important for me, so that I was like, you know what? I don't even need those slides. I'll email them to you. Let's just have this conversation.
Yeah. And just tracking, like if you had listened to the teacher who said, Tina, don't color out of the lines, when coloring out of the lines is one of your magic powers, when you're standing there and the slides aren't going, how you responded is all, well, she went outside of the lines. The lines where you're supposed to have perfect technology, you're supposed to have the slides. So thank goodness you have had teachers and you chose to commit to coloring outside of the lines and owning that, like when the slides go down, you are the perfect person to be standing at the front of the room, helping everybody else in the room have the experience that they were meant to have on that day.
So magnetism, true, beautiful magnetism, is being at the core who you are and not allowing what other people say, think, behave, or be around you to impact your love bubble, your energy, and your sparkle. And we all have a sparkle. Mine just happens to be very big, purple, bright disco ball.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. And I hope if you're listening to this, you're getting the message that like yours is big, purple, bright disco ball, and somebody else might have like white, fluffy pillow.
Yes. And they're both beautiful and they're both magnetic.
Yeah.
I worked so hard to be almost gender neutral in my appeal, and yet it was always the women that I connected with, and that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. Being a woman, and having the experience that I did, and in my life, it just connects. Being a wife, being a mom, it just connects better. And so I finally let go of the idea that I needed to be the person for everybody, and just focused purely on helping women. And that's when things really started to ramp up and take off. There's this idea that you have to create it out of thin air, when in truth, it's all already within you. It's all already in there, but we think we have to have it easily accessible in our minds, at our fingertips, before we can start. That's not the creative process. The creative process is the initial is there, the initial idea, the initial forward movement is there. Then once you start writing, the rest of it comes together. There is a clarifying of motivation, of message that really has to happen as you write.
I grew up in New Jersey, and my mom was a Chinese school teacher there. And so she signed me up for they had a public speaking contest for all the students every year. And so she signed me up for that. And I have that picture of me standing on the stage. I'm so small. I think the microphone pole, it's like this much taller than me, and then the microphone is like coming way down here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I started. And since then, every year I had my mom sign me up to do this every year. I definitely do have memories of not wanting to do it, getting
Mm-hmm.
really nervous, and not I did not enjoy the spotlight. I did not enjoy being on the stage, and I did
Mm-hmm.
not enjoy having to speak something to people just staring at me. I said yes, apparently, because I was in the play. I was like, "Yeah, sure. Maybe I'll find like a little minor part. It'll be fun." You know,
Mm-hmm.
I love the community aspect of like that theater feel.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "Okay, sure. I'll try out." So I tried out for, a really minor part, and then the student who was putting it on said like, "Oh, I'd love you to be in this the minor part, but I also have this other part for you in the play, and it's like the main protagonist of the whole
Mm-hmm.
play." And I do not remember saying yes, but I must have said yes because I ended up doing that part, and so I was able to I had the opportunity to get on stage and act out for the whole yeah, it was basically in the whole play in front of I think there were 500 people in the audience, and to this day I still don't know how I did that.
Yeah, it's interesting. The first kind of chapter feels like it was forced into it and
Mhm,
traumatized.
mhm.
And the second chapter is roped into it. And then I can't help but notice that it's like the spotlight that you didn't even want and were not comfortable with found you again. Your first chapter was forced and traumatized. What would you call your chapter now as an entrepreneur?
Ooh, I don't know. I feel like it has to have the word like Wild West in it.
Mm,
Playing in the Wild West.
yeah, the word play came to me because you're doing so many different kinds of speaking, including the one where you stand in the spotlight,
Yes.
which was it was a surprise again.
Hmm.
If you could reach the end of your Wild West chapter and have the very last moment be standing in a spotlight again, and it was a beyond your wildest dreams experience, how would it go?
Well, I think that, I don't know, the feeling that I get right now is just like a sense of accomplishment. That's the feeling I get. Like a deep sense of, wow, I just did that.
Nice.
And not only did I just do that, but it's resonating. It's something. It's not just flat, which is how it felt when I got up there. Like flat. It has movement in it.
Movement in it, like when you were teaching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can feel the movement.
So I think if we have to characterize like the movie title, it's from strenuous avoidance to that voice in service. And so one day I decided, okay, this is the day I'm going to do my first Periscope Live. And I decided that I wasn't going to let myself go home until I'd done it. So I did all my stuff in town and I went down to a really lovely cliff that's near the little village where I live. And there's a really nice walk along the cliffs there through nature. And I thought I'll give myself that setting so that I can ground and then I will speak into the dot. Laurie, I stood there. I stood there for an
I will
hour
speak into the
to the
dot.
dot, like eyes on the dot. It took me an hour to press record. Like every time I was about to like jump off the cliff, I'd hesitate. Like, this is ridiculous. And so eventually, I just like, oh, for fuck's sakes, just press, walk, speak. Whatever happens, happens. You're not going to die. And so I did. I really wasn't going to let myself go home until I had, faced this particular hurdle. And I started to ramble. Periscope had live viewers, but you didn't have followers. And I can't even remember. Anyway, I was speaking and the first person popped on. I have no idea where in the world they were. And I'm like, oh my God, there's a human on the other side. I don't know who it is. and then there were two viewers. And so I just like rambled. And then I was just beginning to get like into the groove of it when I inhaled a fly. I inhaled it like properly deeply so that the next thing that these two straight down, the next thing these two live viewers got was me on all fours retching up a fly. And I decided to like at that point. And so I kind of like picked myself up, got my breath back, held my head high and drove home because I did it. I pressed the button and I spoke and I made myself leave it up there for the full 24 hours before I deleted it, and no one can ever find it and you will never see me. And the beauty of the arc from avoidance to allowing my voice to do its job is I've gone from the visceral terror that I will be killed, which, a lot of it's this lifetime. I've touched past parallel epigenetic, whatever you want to call it, imprints that say it really is dangerous to open your mouth and be seen. So I've gone from you're gonna be killed to I literally adore every single person in my world. Like the love is palpable. So that's the real victory.
Yeah.
You get a world full of
And when you
love.
tune into the radio signal of you, everyone who is meant to be drawn into your world knows you when they see you, hear you, feel you, because you're in alignment and you're broadcasting on a pure signal instead of, let me try to fit myself over into this box over here and have it come out like, shh. Beautiful.
You know, in alchemy, truth is a paradox, right? Like it should hurt your brain every time you touch truth. And so we now have these platforms where we can speak to the entire world, which is so vulnerable because all the people who will throw stones and hang you from a tree are out there as well. And the paradox is, if you really drop into your frequency, just exactly what you're here to do, only the people who are meant to hear you will notice you exist. The rest will move on within 10 seconds. Oh, this isn't for me.
Love that paradox.